Hello students, good morning once again. We are studying chapter 16 of class 10, that is management of our natural resource. And today's topic is sustainable management. Sustainable management means the proper management of all the natural resources that we have. So what are these natural resources and how can we able to manage it in a proper way? So these resources are, here we study that coal and petroleum and water. Forest and wildlife we have already studied. So here today we will study about coal and petroleum and water. So first let's start our sustainable management by giving examples. Already I have discussed in the previous topic that how people's contribution help in protecting the wildlife and nature and forest. So in this I have told you the stories about Chipko Andolan, then your Amrita Devi Bishnoi and the Arabari forest of West Bengal. So here again I am repeating these topics. So first in sustainable management, here are example that comes as Chipko Andolan, which is held in 1970 in the Reni district of Garhwal, in which the people hug the tree to protect these trees from cutting down by the government contractors. Next, sustainable management, that is in your West Bengal, that happened in 1972, that the Arabari forest, which is famous for its sal trees, that start degrading due to the Naxalites. The government employees do not go to that place, so that degraded forest again reconserved by the local people, which now cost 12.5 crore rupees. You already know about this. Next one is your Amrita Devi Bishnoi, that on her name the award is given to those persons or communities who have a great role by protecting the wildlife, nature and forest. That was in 1731. We already studied about these topics in our last class. Today we will study about water for all. So let's introduce me to you about water. What is water? Water is the source for all living organisms on earth, starting from a single celled organism to a higher multicellular organism. Water not only helps us plants to synthesize their food, water is used by us to do our daily practical processes in our life, day to day life, which you can say that dincharya. Okay, so all the requirement without or can't be fulfilled without water. So water is the lifeline or the main source for life on earth. Without water no one can survive. So from where this water come and how we are using it and how we are misusing it and how we are polluting it, what steps should be taken to conserve water and the water bodies present on earth. So let's understand in detail water for all. As we know, the main source of water in India, in our country, is rain or monsoon. We depend on water for monsoon, for cropping, for irrigating, for storing also, and in dams, etc., etc. So if you think if there will be no rain or no water, then how we will able to survive? What are the other substitute options for us to survive or to maintain life on earth or to fulfill the water requirement? That's why here are some techniques you already studied in your SST, that water harvesting systems. From the ancient times, the people of India, not only India but also all over the world, uses to store water. So the storing of water via various methods are help the people during that time when there is no rain or no monsoon occurs in that time. So what are the water harvesting systems? We can say the most simple water harvesting system is making dams. As we know, dams are made on, this is our first topic of water for all. As we know, dams are made or constructed over the rivers, which takes a large areas. So due to making a dam, we can able to stop the water or to conserve the water. But when we are making a dam, we very much known about the disadvantages of making a dam. Due to making a dam, we face many problems, such as how these dams causes a destruction to a large number of species. Means when we make dam, we have to cut large number of trees, we have to displace the peasants nearby the dam. Then some natural or some organisms, some wild organisms or wild animals lost their habitat. When we cut the trees, some species also extincted from the earth. So these are the major causes. If we count these causes, suppose here one question will arise: what problems are caused due to making a dam, and what is its importance? The importance I have told you, dam is constructed over rivers to protect the overwater or the water, rainwater for future use, like through canals. When the water is filled, they are transported through canals or rivers for irrigation processes in those areas where rainfall is so much less. So in these areas, dam water can helpful for cropping. But when we are making dam, there are three problems are caused. First problem, economical, then your social, and then environmental. These three problems are caused due to making a large dam. So economical, as we know, it uses a huge amount of money. Means for making a dam, huge amount of money is required, which affects the economy of that country. Next is social problem. As we know, large number of peasants, means the tribal peoples who live near the dam region or near the forest, they have to displace. Means they have to lose their natural habitat, and they are not given a single penny as compensation. Means if they are displaced, they are not provided any other home, so they have no homes, they are homeless. Next is environmental problem. As I have told you, a large hectares of forest is cut down, so it will cause the environmental problem. Means the fluctuation of the rainfall pattern and soil erosion and drought like situations. So this is called environmental problem. So these three problems are caused due to making a dam. And importance is, its main importance is for making a dam is to produce electricity. As you know, from a high height the water is fall, and the turbine which is fitted in the ground that rotates and electricity is produced. First importance, producing electricity, and second importance, irrigation process occurs or transported these waters to those regions where rain is less. So in this way we can benefit it, but still we are also getting harm to those peoples or those our environment. This is the demerits and merits of making a dam. Here I want to tell you the ancient method of watershed management. Means from the traditional time, how people used to save or conserve water. As we know, if we travel different states of our country of India, in different countries the water harvesting systems are of different type. You have already know about the rainwater harvesting system, in which rainwater is collected and stored. Either it is put in the soil for absorption, for increasing the groundwater level, or stored in different water bodies like your ponds, pools, etc., etc. So in our India, different states, different names are given for watershed management, like your khadins, tanks and nadis in Rajasthan. In Rajasthan it is khadins, tanks or nadis, which are the water harvesting system, traditional water harvesting system. In Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, ahars and pines in Bihar. Ahars and pines in Bihar, the water harvesting system. If we say in Himachal Pradesh, it is called cools. Okay. Then your Tamil Nadu, it is called as it is called surangams. In Tamil Nadu, it is called tanks, etc., etc. So these are the states in which water harvesting systems are same, but they are named as different. So by conserving the rainwater during rainy season, they can be able to use this for various purposes, for maintaining their different activities like agriculture, or they may use that water for drinking. So this is ancient method of watershed management. And as we know, water is a precious resource and which decreasing now due to our misuse. So we have to conserve water and we have to use a very less amount of water which is required by us. Means we should not overuse the water, and we have to follow some steps like if we are brushing our teeth, then we should not open the tap. If we are washing or cleaning the cars, then we not use the pipe. Then we can use a bucket of water for washing our cars or other vehicles. If we are irrigating, we can use drip irrigation process, in which a small amount of water goes towards the root. These practices can help us to conserve resources. So this is how water helps us. Next is our coal and petroleum. Coal and petroleum are called fossil fuels. You know about fossil fuels, how when a large number of species died at a time due to natural disasters. They go into the earth crust, and inside the earth crust, under great temperature and pressure, they converted into fossil fuels. And these fossil fuels takes millions of years for their formation. And as we know, they are non-renewable. In near future, they must be finished. And then what we do for this? Because we are habitual about this, we can't survive without electricity, without vehicles. So if our exercise use tends like this, one day will come, there will be no coal and petroleum for us. We will have to use candles. We should use bicycles. So these problems we face. If we use these in a sustainable way, as our topic is sustainable management, if we use it in a sustainable way, means in a proper manageable way, then we can able to use it, as well as we can keep these resources to our next generation. So how coal and petroleum can be saved? What steps should be taken by us? I am telling you in detail. You should understand this and remember. First, we should not use private vehicles to going from one place to another place. We should use public vehicles. Why we should use public vehicles? As we know, if we use private vehicles, either one or two persons, in which we use petrol. Suppose I have to go from Dharwada to New Delhi. So here 6 liters of petrols are required. If these 6 liters of petrol only 2 persons use, and that 6 liter diesel is used in a bus and 50 persons are travel, you can estimate how much money and how much research is expended, or we expend in expenditure in our traveling. So first step, you have to remember, we should use a public transport instead of a private transport to decrease or to save coal and petroleum. Next, we should not use lift. As we know, lift is run by the help of electricity, and for producing electricity we depend on coal and petroleum, which are limited. So we should use the stairs. Clear? So we should use the stairs instead of using a lift. Third one, in winters we are running, or we are habitual of room heaters. If we wear extra clothes, then we able to protect or save or conserve our fossil fuels like coal and petroleum. So these are the steps which can help us to to conserve fossil fuels like coal and your petroleum. So next topic is an overview of natural resource management. Overview of natural resource management means, in this chapter we have studied about the renewable resources, non-renewable resources, whether the resource, in my opinion, whether the resource is renewable or non-renewable. We have to use all those substances in a judicious manner that everyone can get benefits from it. Means, if it is renewable, then nothing to be worried. If it's non-renewable, then this is a cause of concern that must be used in a proper manner and in a manageable way, and in a judicious, intelligent or wise manner they should be used. Like your water means fresh water, your fossil fuels, etc., etc. Even soil also, which we have studied. So all these natural resources can help us, our surrounding and other animals for their future. If we are not conscious now, then one day will come, then our survival is impossible. As we are know, if these natural resources are decreasing or we are harming again and again, then we fall ourselves in a panic situation. So students, this is my personal request to you. You should save water. If your water tank get filled, then switch off the motor. You should not use more water during bathing by using your showers. You can use a bucket of water. You should switch off the unnecessary bulbs and fans. If you can tolerate the heat or hot, then you don't on a fan or AC. Always try to save energy and save money and make our country a wise, wealthy country in the world. So today this is completion of your chapter 16 and also your 10th syllabus.